Hey everyone, welcome to Mind Body Beauty, helping you feel happier in your own skin. I'm Crystal from Ecology Skincare, and today I have with me Vanessa Breden. So Vanessa owns a wellness studio called Transformations Beyond Beauty. She's a personal trainer, Pilates instructor, a makeup artist, nutritional medicine student, and a wellness advocate. And over the years, Vanessa has transformed her own health, really learning to successfully manage her Hashimotos Thyroiditis and also fibromyalgia without medication, which is quite a feat. Welcome, Vanessa.
Thank you for having me, Crystal.
Not a problem. So, Vanessa, tell us a bit about yourself and your wellness journey, because I'm sure it's a very interesting story.
Okay, so it really begins with degenerative back disease. Yeah. Back when I was in my early 30s, it reared its ugly head after having a water skiing accident when I was 16 years old. A lot of damage was going on behind the scenes that I was unaware of until I hit my early 30s. And then I ended up in hospital and had a lot of degenerative damage in my lower back, which meant that for the next 10 years or so I was on lots of different medications for pain and lots of different treatments to try and ease the pain. And basically that was my life, and I was used to that, and I was pretty sure that was how it was going to be for the rest of my life. And because of all the different medications I was on, and I had a fairly stressful life with some other things going on, and also eating what I now know not to be such a healthy diet, even though at the time I thought it was, because I was a fitness trainer and I knew exactly what I thought I should be eating. But it led me to develop this illness that for a long time was undiagnosed, and I was just getting sicker and sicker and bigger, gaining a lot of weight.
I'm not understanding why.
Yes, that's right. Hashimoto's. At the time, there were a lot of things that were said, like I was, it was depression or, lots of different things. But in actual fact, I had the Hashimoto's thyroiditis. And when it was diagnosed, I started to follow the protocol that my doctor put me on, which was to take a thyroid medication to replace the hormone that the thyroid makes, because with Hashimoto's thyroiditis, the autoimmune system, or the immune system attacks the thyroid thinking that it shouldn't be there, which is what autoimmune disease is all about. And there's so many of them around. But basically what happened was I started to get well, and I started to lose a bit of weight, and I started to feel really good. And after a couple of years on that, I started to feel lousy again, and I started to feel sick again, and I started to gain weight again, and all these symptoms were coming back. And I started to do my own research. It was more that when I started to do the research that I actually felt I found information that my doctor didn't seem to be privy to. Information which went against everything that the doctor was telling me to do. So nobody had ever said to me that food could play a factor in controlling the flare-ups of the Hashimoto's and my fibromyalgia. And when I started to research all of this, and funnily enough, the thing that was the trigger for me to start researching was that I was gaining weight again, and I had been losing weight up until that point. So I started to gain weight again, and that obviously wasn't something I wanted to do. And so I literally Googled having trouble losing weight with Hashimoto's, and a whole lot of information was opened up to me. And I discovered an amazing doctor called Dr. Karazian, who is very, very well known in the autoimmune field. And I read some of his books, and I started to research a lot of the information, found out that gluten was a trigger with Hashimoto's and also with fibromyalgia. And so started to make some changes with my food. And made a big decision based on the information that I had gathered, which was that being on the protocol that was standard for Hashimoto's, which was to take thyroxine, wasn't necessarily the best way to work with an autoimmune thyroid condition, because Hashimoto's is not necessarily a thyroid condition. It's an autoimmune condition first and foremost. So supporting the immune system is the most important thing.
Yep.
So I spoke to my doctor and told him that I would be taking myself off the medication, which he was not happy about.
Big step.
Yeah, we kind of nearly had a punch up, but not really. He obviously was concerned because in his mind what I was doing was not going to work and that it would lead to all sorts of flare-ups with my symptoms, and I promised that I would keep an eye on my blood work and all those things. And over time my blood work improved each month until my most recent blood work was showing that I had very little antibodies in my system.
Wow.
And my thyroid levels were almost normal, which for someone with Hashimoto's is kind of not that common.
And so, someone with Hashimoto's who wasn't taking medication, that's
right.
Awesome.
So I haven't been taking medication for around 2 years now.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's really sort of what led me to my journey. And also there's obviously a lot more info in there, a lot more things that have happened during that time. But I really wanted to, for many years, I wanted to have a place where women and men could go, where they could feel comfortable to explore their wellness options and to ask questions and to get information and to make informed decisions. Informed self-care.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's quite a journey, and obviously that's really shaped the work that you do in the wellness studio with your clients. Going through the whole food and mood side of things and addressing fears and helping people find some direction in their daily life. So tell us a little bit about what you do with clients.
So, food and mood coaching. The food and mood coaching isn't about telling people what to eat.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of that. I don't believe that there is one set way for everybody. I believe that definitely real food is the answer, and everyone should be eating real food and staying away from processed foods. But as far as all the different labels and different ways of eating, I think that there is definitely room for movement within them. And I certainly, personally, I eat quite a high-fat diet, and I eat quite low carbs and very few grains, because I find that works for me, and that I feel better when I eat like that. And so food and mood coaching is about helping people to discover what's going on in their daily life and to find what works for them. So it's a process.
Yeah.
It's not we sit down one time and I tell them what they should eat and then they go off and they start eating and everything's perfect. It's actually figuring out what foods trigger different moods, how they feel after they eat, are they getting any kind of reactions. And until you start to measure and look at what's going on a daily basis in your life, like stress levels, we monitor stress, we monitor sleep, we monitor how much water, all of those things are really, really important factors in how you feel on a daily basis.
Yeah.
But you don't actually start to recognise those things until you measure it and record it. So it's really about just guiding them through a process of finding what works for them and helping them to find their own answers.
Yeah.
Because it's intrinsic. It's coming from them rather than just an external source saying, if you do this, this will make everything better. When you learn something for yourself, you're far more likely to stick with it, and it becomes a lifelong change. So that's what we do with food and mood coaching.
Yeah.
But the actual studio is really about providing, I like to call it a cocoon. Yeah. So it's providing a place where they're comfortable and supported and nurtured on whatever the journey is for them. So everyone's journey is different, and we have lots of different clients with lots of different needs and illnesses or age groups, all of those things, and it's really, really important that everyone feels like part of a community and they're feeling nurtured. So that's what we do.
Yeah. So that sounds really interesting. You're taking people on a journey of transformation. Transformations beyond beauty. What does beyond beauty mean to you? Beauty
is, it's a subjective word. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah.
And to me, real beauty is actually something that comes from within you. So, and it's very visible to other people when that really comes from within, when you feel beautiful on the inside. And I like to say that it's not about how you look, it's about how you feel about how you look.
Yeah.
So, and we've all seen someone walk into a room that may not be traditionally beautiful, but they own the room when they walk in because they feel good and they attract people to them. And then there's other people who maybe have got that traditional beauty that you know, have a slouch and they're not comfortable and they don't have that attractiveness because they don't feel confident in how they look, even though they may look traditionally very beautiful. So to me, being beyond beautiful is about finding your true inner beauty and actually being able to express that. So it's not about creating a new you, it's about creating the true you, allowing the true you to actually shine through.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what beyond beautiful means to me.
I'm sure a lot of us kind of aspire to having that beauty, that and that confidence to own a room when we walk into it. And certainly there are critics that throw stones at, you know, people who wear lots of makeup because they, you know, say it's kind of like a push-up bra, it's false advertising, you take it off and, you know, you don't look the way people thought you looked. Or, you know, maybe we use it because we might not feel good enough on the inside, so we use it to help us feel better on the outside. So what are your thoughts on the use of makeup to really help you feel better about the way you look?
So just addressing the whole, you know, it's fake and, you know, you don't look the same when you take it off. I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't look the same when I take my clothes off either. So, and I'm not about to start getting around naked just because clothes make me look different. I actually feel really good when I wear certain clothes, and there's certain styles that make you feel good and other things you put on and you just go, that's horrible. Well, to me, makeup is like fashion for your face.
I love it.
So it's about, even the icing on the cake, you know. You don't turn up to many birthday parties and they've got a cake sitting there with no icing on it because
poor birthday party
looks better when it's got to be no icing on it. So not that I'm advocating eating cake in any way, but to me, makeup is about how it makes you feel. So I know if I'm going somewhere special and I take the time to put makeup on, I will feel good. And that's more what it's about to me. Is it, how do you feel when you put it on? Do you feel different? And certainly if someone has issues like rosacea or acne or any kind of skin condition that may be quite confronting, that is there really anything wrong with wanting to feel better about yourself and to maybe play down some of those things and to play up some of your favourite features, you know, like great cheekbones or beautiful eyes or great lips. You know, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I also believe, you know, we go to restaurants and they dress up our food on a plate and make it look spectacular, and we all make this big fuss about how fabulous does that look. Well, why does it matter how it looks if we're just going to eat it? It's the same kind of thing.
Yeah, so true.
That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, for myself, like I have skin issues, you know, acne, eczema, you know, all that kind of thing, which does go up and down. There are some times when it's flared up, and there are times when I put makeup on it so that I feel better about the way I look, more socially acceptable and that kind of thing. But I'm sure there's a lot of mistakes that, you know, we can make when we're putting makeup on, especially if we're putting it on because we feel that we need to hide certain areas of our face. So what are some of the most common mistakes that you see people make when they're putting makeup on?
Some of the most common mistakes are using the wrong colour foundation.
Yeah.
So I always like to tell people that there's not really many rules when it comes to makeup, but one of the main rules is to always choose the right colour foundation.
Okay.
Because when you choose an incorrect colour, it is very obvious. So we've all seen, you know, the girls down the street with their darker makeup that finishes just under the jawline, and they look like they have a Tide mark. And that is one of the biggest mistakes and the most common mistakes. Also, not blending. So, you know, if you don't blend makeup well, then it can be very, very obvious. So and choosing a good quality makeup is really, really important, and you'll usually get a lot more wear from it, so it ends up being less expensive in the long run because you don't need to use as much.
Yeah.
So, but definitely the foundation seems to be the main one. Yeah.
So it's important to actually match it to the colour of your face.
Yes.
Right? Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, right. Right. Okay.
Very
Mark that one down.
Yeah.
So, when we are looking at choosing makeup, what should we be looking for? What should we look for in particular brands or particular ingredients, things like that?
Okay, so one of the things that I did when I was looking for makeup to use at the studio was I had, a pretty big list of things that it had to cover, and for me the brand that I chose was Youngblood Mineral Cosmetics, mainly because of the ingredients that it doesn't contain. So no parabens and mineral oils and talc and things like that. There's nothing like that, so they're very good quality ingredients, and being a mineral makeup, it is a lot healthier for the skin.
Yeah.
And I find for me that has been the best choice. There's a lot of really good quality makeup brands on the market. That for me, that one was the one that ticked the boxes because it had really lovely packaging, was a really reasonable price point. It was very, very good quality with minimal ingredients, lots of good colours, and it was really easy to use. And so that was the one I decided to go with.
All right.
And they don't test on animals.
Which is important. Also. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right, and so for people that do have sensitive skin and skin issues like rosacea and acne, are there any things in particular that they should take into consideration when they're choosing makeup or applying makeup?
Well, mineral makeup is a great choice for people with acne and rosacea. One, because it reflects light away, so it helps to really disguise those imperfections very well without needing to apply a lot of makeup. So definitely looking at a good quality mineral makeup. But the application of a mineral makeup is very different.
Yeah.
So it's important to learn how to apply it properly, which is one of the reasons we run the workshops with the makeup, because once you learn how to apply your makeup properly, you'll use a lot less and it will look better.
Awesome.
And you'll feel more confident with it. So
ticks a lot of boxes.
Yeah, it does, absolutely. So people with rosacea obviously need to be very gentle with the skin, because any stimulation of the skin is going to make the skin a lot more flared. And same with acne. A lot of people with acne are quite hard on their skin, and they use very drying products and products that strip the oils from the skin. But it's really important to be very, very gentle with the skin and to not scrub it and over cleanse, and to use really, really good quality skincare and really good quality makeup, and to make sure your brushes are clean.
And what's the best thing to clean our brushes with?
So a good quality shampoo and conditioner.
Yep.
So you shampoo your brush. Good quality brushes to start with. Good quality brushes are really, really important. When you're using them yourself at home, you can probably get away with washing them once a week or once a fortnight, depending on how often you're using them.
Yeah.
And you can also purchase brush cleansers just for in-between cleansing. So just to sanitize your brush, just to stop any oils accumulating on the brush and attracting bacteria and so on, because obviously, especially with acne skin, we don't want to be getting more bacteria onto the skin. So just keeping your brushes clean and applicators and makeup, make sure your makeup stays sealed. If you're going to use mineral makeup, generally you'll actually, if you're using a powder, tip it into another container and use it, and keep the container that it's in sealed so that it doesn't get bacteria in the container. Things like that are really important, but a lot of people people aren't aware that those things can actually happen.
Yeah, all good tips. And certainly the cosmetic industry, much like the broader skincare industry, there's a lot of, I would imagine, greenwashing that goes on. So in terms of, marketing around what's quote unquote natural versus not natural. So, it can be quite confusing and misleading. So when we're looking at ingredients, what are some of the tips that you've got for us in terms of deciphering what's in there and whether or not it's really that good for us?
Okay, so look, there's so many different ingredients, and even when I'm looking at things, I will actually refer to books and so on to see what are those ingredients and are they safe and am I happy to use those. And everyone will have differing, levels of what's okay and what's not okay. It's important to realise too that sometimes a really long ingredient name can still be a natural ingredient. It just is the scientific name. So it's important to do the research.
Yeah.
But I think often less is more. So if you've got a product with only a few ingredients, you're generally going to be safer with that.
Yeah.
So, and you can usually find out what those ingredients are.
Yeah.
And you can have a reaction to a natural ingredient.
Yeah, tell me about it.
But it's important, yes, to choose natural ingredients, but it's also important to be aware of what triggers any skin problems and any allergies that you may have. So just choosing products that have a commitment to being natural, that you can actually, that don't just claim that they're natural, because yes, the natural word, even in food, I have a real problem with the word natural being used in a lot of foods, because just because something's natural doesn't mean it's good for you.
Absolutely.
But there are a lot of obviously toxic ingredients in a lot of makeups that would be best avoided. So just doing your research and taking responsibility for that. It's not always up to somebody else to tell you what's good and what you shouldn't use on your skin. Well, you can take responsibility for that. There's a lot of information out there that's easily accessible that you can find out for yourself and then make an informed choice.
And exactly. And realising that we are all different. I mean, I'm the person that reacts to coconut oil and evening primrose oil, which you think those are fantastic ingredients for your skin. Right. And for some people they are, but for me, worst. Worst.
That's it. So it's finding out what works for you.
Yeah. So Vanessa, I'm going to get a little cheeky now.
Okay.
What does your morning routine look like? Your morning beauty routine?
Okay. So I have a cleanser, a foaming cleanser that I use, which is a natural essential oil cleanser. And I follow that with a toning mist and then a serum, which is again with lots of different essential oils. And I actually use 2 moisturisers.
Why 2?
I don't know. Like it that way. One's quite light, and then I've become kind of addicted to Ecology. And I find that my makeup goes on beautifully when I use the Ecology Skincare.
Wow.
So shameless plug right there. You go.
Totally really, not staged, promise.
Yeah, absolutely. It does go beautifully underneath the mineral makeup.
Awesome, that sounds good. So thank you so much, Vanessa, for coming and sharing your knowledge and your experience with us today. So where can we find you?
So you can find us at transformationsbeyondbeauty.com. We're in Tyab, Victoria, and we have all of the information about what we do on the website.
Excellent. And you're a stockist for Youngblood too, hey?
Yes.
Fantastic. So people can come and buy it online from you. Why is it important that they find a registered certified stockist for makeup? Okay, so a lot of people love to buy online these days, as we know, and it's something that is really simple and easy to do. But there's a lot of companies that their products are copied, and they look exactly the same, but they can contain some very suspect ingredients. I know that there's been some makeup ingredients, like makeups that have been found to have ingredients like arsenic and so on, which we don't really want to be putting on our skin. No. So it's important that you purchase from a stockist that is an authorised stockist rather than just going onto one of the big cosmetic retailers online and getting products from overseas shipped in. Yes, they may be cheaper, but they're generally not going to be the authentic product. They may look the same, but they're not. And often you can find little spelling mistakes on the packaging and things like that. Oh, wow. Where they've been copied, but it's important to buy from an authorised stockist so that you know that you're getting the actual product that you're paying for. Yep. And we'll certainly put the link to Transformations Beyond Beauty in the show notes as well. Great. Thank you so much, Vanessa. And thank you everyone for joining us for the Mind Body Beauty Show. If you enjoyed the show today, please like it, share it, tell all your friends, comment below. We love to hear from you guys, so tell us your experience. And certainly come and find us at ecologyskincare.com and also on social media at Ecology Skincare. And until next time, we'll see you then.